said that song was played on MTV Friend Zone?
Yeah.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about how you guys got placement on that show?
Well, I work with a company in town here called In the Groove, and they do licensing and placement. And their job is to develop relationships with music supervisors and people that work at TV shows and networks. And there's been a few instances where my songs have been used on television shows or in conjunction with a product, and it's amazing when that happens. Sometimes it's really great for exposure. Like we had a song that was on Jersey Shore last August, and the next month when the iTunes statements came out, I'm like, why are so many people buying this one song that we never play live, and it doesn't seem like the most popular song that we made, and it turns out because it was used in an episode of Jersey Shore, and it was kind of featured prominently when Snooki was crying, and that resonates with a lot of people apparently. That company In the Groove Music has made a relationship with a company out in Los Angeles that does the placement for MTV network shows. And recently, my band, we went on a tour. We went out to the West Coast for a couple weeks, and when we played in LA, we invited those people to come to the show, which they did, and they really enjoyed it. And the next day, we got together and we had lunch, and we had a lot of questions for them about what their process was for selecting music and how what kinds of difficulties there are in trying to satisfy so many people that are pitching music to them, bands, managers of bands, labels, publicity people, other people within the organization, people from the TV show, people, actors, executive producers. There's so many ways that a song, once, maybe it was destined to be on a TV show, there's so many ways it can just get smacked away and not see the light of day like that. But we were very fortunate to have from time to time have a song used on a show, and it feels validating in a sense that your music is being heard by a lot of people, even if they don't know what it is.
Right. Do you feel, let's say you didn't meet anybody from In the Groove, do you feel like you would have submitted or done any of that yourself?
I think eventually I would have.
Okay.
Because that is something that you shouldn't ignore, even if you don't have an agency that you're working with for that kind of thing. In this day and age, it's very easy to find out what people's Twitter handle is,
sure,
or find an email address somewhere. It's a few phone calls away, or a little digging on the web, and then just learning a little bit about the people that are pitching the music or placing the music, and doing your homework a little bit, and then being patient but persistent. So it's available to anybody, whether or not you work with an agency. It takes a whole different kind of organizational skill set. Okay.
How do you consider yourself, or even the band, DIY?
How are we DIY?
Yeah. What do you guys do yourself, and what did you decide? We can't. This is out of our hands here. So.
Well, we kind of decide when we want to do a tour. We work with a booking agency, or I guess it was a booking agent, not really an agency,
sure,
to help us book the shows. We design. It helps us design some merch too, but we design some merch. We do the recording, the producing, the songwriting, the funding of everything that we do. We happily rely and ask other people to work with us, but at the end of the day, we have to follow up on with that, any kind of investigation that's happening.
Would you have rather that you were approached by somebody from a big record label, or would you have rather learned by yourself? I mean,
it's, I think the knowledge that sticks with me the most anyway is stuff that I learned myself.
Sure.
It's something that somebody just tells me. You got to figure it out for yourself. I mean, I think most people are a little bit stubborn in that way. I certainly am.
Sure.
So unless I'm finding it out on my own, it doesn't stick as well.
Sure. So with your solo stuff, you've been touring a lot. with who did you went on tour with?
I went on a week-long tour, met up with an artist out of the East Coast. His name is Stephen Kellogg, and I met up with him and did 4 shows throughout the Midwest. And I did some solo shows on the way out there, some house shows and cafes and club shows, college shows, and then met up with him and we played at a theater, we played at a couple bars. Well, like, I don't want to say just bars, I mean you can get a beer anywhere, but you know, music venues, they were pretty cool in Michigan and in Ohio and Indiana. And it was really interesting to see how they do it, because they're a successful national touring operation. They put albums out on Vanguard Records. They're doing a national tour with OAR in February. They're on a big booking agency, the agency group. They have a big name publicist, all kinds of stuff. But when it comes down to it, I still think that they're very DIY, because working with them, they are totally spearheading all of their efforts. Like, they make sure that they're putting a big priority on their relationship with the fans, with their audience that are coming to the show. They set up pre-sound check acoustic concerts in the venues where people in the fan club can come and get like make some requests for a couple songs that they really want to hear. So watching their strategy, it becomes clear that no matter what level of success you may achieve in terms of a commercial exposure, it really is dependent on the drive of the individual musician or the individual people in the band to make their career what it is.
Okay. We get another song.
Yes. And the thing that I like doing best is writing songs and playing songs, so that's my comfort zone.